Hey guys, welcome back. So we're actually going to be starting some seeds. It's about 10 weeks out. We do have a few things we want to start. We've got some onions in our rosemary. The rosemary takes 10 to 12 weeks to get going before you plant it in the ground. And the onions take about 8 to 10 weeks. So we're going to get those going. But before that, I wanted to show you kind of how I organize my seeds, how I am getting everything set up, and how I kind of determine when I'm going to be starting to plant. I thought I'd show you all of that, including some of my failures, and how I organize everything all together. So let's get started by showing you my first failure. I started going through all my seeds and trying to put some organization to it, trying to put them alphabetical, thinking that I could put them into a 3-ring binder. This is about 3.5 inches, and using baseball card holders to kind of organize them and put them in alphabetical order. This is an actual end result. It is well beyond the 3 inches that I'm allotted with this binder, and I'm not even close to being done. The seed packets become so thick, and then on top of that, the top layer I can't even use because the seeds are falling out. So we gotta try something different. And for that, we're headed out to Harbor Freight, where we're picking up some ammo boxes. These are selling for about $7 a box, and they fit the seed packets perfectly. To organize it, we'll be cutting up some cardboard to fit inside as dividers and labeling each section and dividing our seeds into different groups. Now that we've got some organization, we're going to put things together and create an inventory essentially. And now we're going to be using Google Docs' spreadsheet. And what's nice about Google Docs is I can create my spreadsheet, use it on here, update it on my cell phone, or take it to any computer, and as long as I'm able to log into Google Docs, I can look at it, update it, or share it with anyone at any time. Now I'm going to show you where I get my frost dates from. I go to almanaccom, and I went onto there to find out exactly my area and what my frost date would be. Now, when you plug in your zip code, it gives you what your hardiness zone is. They put us in at a 5B. But when you look at a map of where 5B is in relationship to 5A, we're about a quarter mile from 5A. So I take that into consideration when I'm making my decisions. Almanac.com creates their probable date of their frost or their last frost and the first frost of the year based on information they gather from 1991 to 2020 of their climate norms. Being that, again, our group is 5B, they put our final frost as being roughly about April 30th. Now, because we're so close to 5A, it doesn't hurt to start things a little bit later. I might shorten my growing season up by a couple days at most, but I try to plant towards the end of the week that is suggested for 5B, and a lot closer to the beginning of 5A's growing season. Now I'll use that information and I will create a planting schedule for seeds. And I'll use the schedule created by 5B, but I just try to plant sometime during that week. And I'll color code each one of those weeks. And then when I create the spreadsheets, what I'll end up doing is color coding each section of seeds so I know when I need to start planting with a visual reminder. To organize even further, I separated it into pages and categories essentially, with peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, beans, leafy greens, herbs, pumpkin and squash, and anything else that I didn't really have a place to go for other. That organization and grouping is kept through the ammo cans as well. And then on top of that, I then labeled the outside of each can so I know exactly what is in each one of them. As I said before, we're about 10 weeks out, so we're going to start off by growing some onions and some rosemary. Now with these onions, we're going to try a different method. We're going to do some cluster planting. We're going to plant between 25 to 30 seeds in each one of these 4-inch pots. And then once they grow and get the full size and we go to move them outside, what we'll do is essentially turn them into bare root plants, pull them apart, and plant them individually. Now because their roots are so fibrous, they should be fairly easy to pull apart, and if there's any root damage, they should recover pretty easy. The first variety of onion is going to be from M.I. Gardner. It's going to be a red Geneva onion. It's cold tolerant, matures in about 110 days, and keeps inside after harvesting for 3 to 6 months. They reach a size about 2 to 3 inches wide. Next up from MI Gardener is the ruby red onion. This is a cold tolerant variety reaching maturity in 90 to 120 days. It can keep inside for 3 to 6 months and has a bulb size at approximately 3 to 4 inches. The last onion variety from MI Gardener is the Walla Walla onion. Again, another cold tolerant reaching maturity 125 days and keeps in storage for 3 to 6 months with a bulb size of 2 to 3.5 inches wide. And the last thing we're going to plant is going to be rosemary from seed from MI Gardener. It matures in about 80 to 90 days. It says it needs to be planted inside and started between 10 to 12 weeks out. Now we're going to plant this. It is a perennial in zones 7 through 10, but since we're in 5, that's obviously not going to work for us. So what we'll do is we'll move it inside if we get some good hardy plants. Now it has the potential to grow 3 to 5 feet tall. Now we're going to move all this under the grow light, and this is where it's going to stay. We're starting out on a heating pad, but it's not going to stay there for very long because of how cold tolerant they are. We're going to keep up on the watering, and that's going to be it. Alright guys, so that is it. I showed you my organization. We got our first set of seeds in. Everything went pretty smooth. Now we are about a week and a half or so from our next grouping of planting. When we do that, we're going to try a different method. And I picked this up from Ladbroke as a soil blocker. So we're going to attempt to try to use this for the first time. I've never used anything like this. We've always used the greenhouse style trays. So we're going to try something a little different, see how it goes, see how successful we actually are with it. So stay tuned for that video, and that will be when we do our biggest grouping of plantings. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.